Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. Usually just give it another minute or so for last minute people to join, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, we're going to dive in because I know you all are as anxious to hear about all of this as we are to present to you. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Beth Reichert, and I oversee the operations here at HireLevel. Hopefully, I've had a chance to get to know many of you. If not, I welcome a conversation to get to know you and your business more. So, I am my role here at HireLevel, of course, in operations is to know and to do and support all of the things. But one thing that I've become incredibly passionate about over the course of a year and a half is how to become more operationally efficient for with using AI, basically for more accurate payroll data, taxes, just double checking things. So this is really a topic that I've leaned into pretty heavily. And when I think about what's going to happen to our industry and just the HR landscape as a whole, it's really, really exciting. And I think there's also, of course, the fear and the stigma of what about my job and what about my role? But in reality, it's going to make it that much better because of these great tools and resources that are going to become available. So with that being said, really, really excited about our partner iSolved and the things that they've been doing to just be great in this as well for both employees and employers. And we're going to continue to be talking about this same topic, and you're going to see new updates, new releases, and new ways that AI can better the workforce from the employees' experience and yours as well. So, I also have on this meeting with me today our chief matchmaker and HR queen, Summer. I'm sure many of you have met with her too. And Summer will be talking where, again, she's the matchmaker. Here in a little while, she'll be talking and leaning into the recruitment piece and talking about how that's changing, right? As you all know that we're the experts in that world, and it definitely looks a lot different for us too. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those in. Happy to address those at the end of the meeting as I go through things. You just let me know. So, all right. Is your HR system creating more work for you? I really hope that's not the case. And if it is, you need to call me. But let's dive into AI and automation. So when I was doing some research not too long ago about this, I think HR leaders in general anticipate that a lot of the executives are really talking about this, right? Your C-suite people, the adoption is not quite there. Business owners, you're not quite there because, again, you're a little bit nervous about it. But I'm hearing more and more of a demand for what's AI, what's happening in AI from our clients. And that's really why we wanted to spend the time here. So for some of you, you may have this product already turned on for you. It is called Perfect Payroll, and that will be the one big highlight that we talk about today. We're also going to be talking about the Claude integration. So if you don't know what Claude is, it's an AI tool that anybody can sign up for free. A lot of people use ChatGPT. Claude is a different type of agent that employees can actually sign up for free and utilize it as well. And then we're going to be talking about always on HR. So the hidden cost of manual payroll. And I've been with HireLevel for a very long time. I've been in this industry for a very long time. And it is incredible to me just how much of a shift we are seeing in the payroll and HR world. Now, I think about when I started many moons ago, it was all data entry, right? You maybe had automated timekeeping, time clocks, some of that stuff, but employee paperwork was manual, benefits enrollment was manual. You probably still have tons and tons of filing cabinets at your office, right? It was all just paperwork, right? And then COVID happened. And we saw this big shift of remote work and this adoption of making things electronic, a huge shift there to electronic onboarding, applicant tracking, everything in between. But then it still felt a little bit like payroll stayed manual. Even though all these other things in the HR world were becoming more efficient, payroll still felt a little manual and still risky. So when HR is still running on manual checks, spreadsheets, please tell me you're not tracking your PTO on spreadsheets, or just constant follow-up of things, email communication internally around payroll, you're losing out on time and you put yourself at risk of costly errors. Your hours lost to manual entry, making those adjustments, and of course, there's risk with the errors that could carry with that. A single wrong figure can impact you both, of course, financially, but also from an employee retention standpoint. I can't tell you how many times there's been an adjustment over the years where somebody had too much tax withholding calculated and they didn't want that, or the PTO payout was mishandled. I mean, some of this stuff is just always done that way, and there's a better way to do it. And that's where we need to lean into some of these AI tools to help us. So with that, when we think about how manual payroll still kind of is, and really the data security and the integrity of that payroll that's about to run, that's where iSolved had put in some focus, right? How do we catch these anomalies that happen and use the analytics that are already in the system to prevent errors from happening before payroll's even closed, right? I always joke that everything in payroll is fixable normally. Some of it's a little bit more painful than others, but we don't want to have to fix it on payday or the next week. We just want it to be right. So I'm really going to lean into the payroll side of things today, and of course, and then the employee experience. But here's a little bit of that agenda of what you can expect. So where HR teams lose time and how AI is closing the gaps, automating some different HR functions using the new Claude AI integration. Super excited to show you guys that. And most of this stuff is ready to go. When we get done, you can message me and said, I'm so excited, let's turn it on, and we'll turn it on for you. Perfect Payroll Assist, as I was just talking about, and how that supports payroll accuracy and compliance, self-service answers for employees without contacting HR, and of course, as I mentioned, our Queen HR matchmaker is going to be talking about how AI has shifted the way candidates are applying resume screening and all of that good stuff. So let's just dive into this perfect payroll assist. So again, payroll validation that catches problems before they reach a paycheck, automated anomaly detection, real-time payroll warnings, accuracy and compliance built in. So when I look at so there's really two different levels of this AI for payroll inside of iSolved. There's the perfect payroll, which is kind of like the core things. You all can turn it on, use it, have it, all those things. And then there's the more advanced AI piece of it, which is called Perfect Payroll Assist. That one is going to continue to build, and we're going to continue to have background agents within iSolved helping to catch these anomalies, helping to make payroll that much easier. From a core perfect payroll, it's using triggers and insights across the last 10 payrolls that have been run in the system. So it's going to look at your average cost. It's going to look at your deduction totals, your pay totals, hourly versus salary. It's going to really compare across all of those to see how are the funding measuring up to the last 10 that ran in the system. There's been several times where we've had some clients that forget to commit their time cards into the system, and then their salary people get paid, but our hourly people didn't, and then we're in crisis mode. This is going to prevent that, because when you see your data analytics on your perfect payroll, you're going to be able to see right then and there, uh-oh, my gross payroll funding is so much less than what it used to be. Or why are my deductions? That's not right. Is something wrong with my medical plans? You'll be able to catch those totals in that. And I'll show you the visual here in just a moment. Some other things that it's going to help catch, duplicate social security numbers. If you inadvertently add somebody 2 times to the system, Invalid social security numbers, you know, the SSA doesn't take socials that start with a 9. You can't use them, and it's going to help catch those as well. W-2, EIN, TIN. So if you pay 1099s and W-2 employees within your payroll, it's going to help catch some of those setup errors. Missing social security numbers, we block that. We don't allow anybody to add people to the system with social security numbers because you really shouldn't pay without a social security number, right? Incomplete addresses, birth dates missing. If you're in a state that requires SOC code reporting like West Virginia, it's going to give you that warning in there as well. Mismatched time entries. These are payroll processing errors. So it's going to trigger time entries are mismatched. So if your time card has 80 hours, but in your time entry, something's been done and it has 120 hours in your time entry, it's going to say, hey, Beth Reichert has 80 hours in her time card, but she's being paid for 120. Did something happen? Did I miskey something on the wrong person? So it's going to give you that exact person that you'll be able to compare analytically to see, are those hours varying? Time cards that lack verification. Unapproved bonuses and commissions. If you're using that feature within the system, it's going to be able to detect that sort of thing that's in there. Unusual pay rate changes. If somebody gets a pretty high pay raise, it's going to help catch that. Think about how wonderful that is, right? One miss key, I put an extra 5 or 0 onto that pay rate change. You could accidentally overpay or underpay someone dramatically, right? So using those AI tools to compare each employee's pay over the course of the last 10 payrolls to help catch that. I get excited about these things. You got to remember, people, I am a payroll person, and these are things that I've lived through. I've seen clients struggle with these things. If you're using features like the scheduler, overlapping schedules, of course, are in there. Duplicate bank accounts, holidays for banking holidays near the payroll run, inconsistent overtime payments. The list goes on. And I will send this out to everyone so that way you know exactly what perfect payroll is going to catch for you. And how exciting. Taxes too. If you're an employer who pays people in different states and you're not sure if you have those tax things registered and going, or if you add someone but you forget to set up a work location, that causes big work, right? Amended tax returns, all sorts of headaches with moving taxable wages. It's going to catch that before that even happens. So those are the things that I'm really, really, really excited about. And then the next step to that. So I've been talking about perfect payroll, that core function. Perfect Payroll Assist is going to run payroll against 30 curated insight rules into 4 severity tiers. So this is really going to be designed to analyze payroll activity with these insights, but focus on fraud anomaly detections. So it's an add-on intelligence layer that evaluates payroll runs for those anomalies and prioritize insights. So direct deposit changes, the number of employees paid, new hire totals to detect any suspicious onboarding anomalies before payroll, total hours, change in those total hours. So Perfect Payroll Assist is going to help us on the fraud end of things too. If you have your system compromised, or if we've had it happen, you wouldn't believe the attempts that have picked up in the last few weeks of clients' emails who have been hacked, and they email us and they say, please pay this 1099 contractor $25,000. And we pick up the phone right away and say, are you sure? Is this right? They're like, we don't know what you're talking about. We train our teams internally to be those fierce detectives and advocates for your fraud security. But if you're self-sufficient and a high-end user of iSolved, and you get a change from your employee and they email you to update something, this is, again, that added fraud layer of protection. So that's your Perfect Payroll Assist. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. I want to me just go ahead and hit play. So this is a recording of a webinar that we were a part of, where it's going to show you what this visually looks like on your payroll screen based off of this demo account. So here you can see that you've got your funding totals over here on the left. So once you're in the payroll processing standpoint, you have to hit preview first for this to show up. So if you guys have this turned on right now, you can hit your preview and you can scroll down to the bottom and take a look at these analytics. Again, perfect payroll. There's no additional cost to that. That stuff is just giving you those extra core insights that the AI, all that resource and information is already in there. So I love this funding amount totals right here because I know a lot of people need that, right? They maybe have money that they move between different bank accounts. It's a big piece. So that way, instead of having to preview that payroll summary, you can just see those core funding totals right there. Insights and analysis, it's giving you the high and medium. And again, I'll send this documentation out so that way you can see what's classified as high, what's classified as medium. And as we go down, we have our payroll anomaly detection here. So we have one direct deposit change, 18 employees paid, so there's no change there, total hours, and new hires. Here you see your payroll comparison of your different analytics between deductions, gross pay, net pay, taxes, and funding amount. So I highly recommend you review those so that way you can see. Clearly, if you're paying bonuses and things like that, that payroll funding could be quite a bit higher. But if you're not expecting your payroll funding to be any higher, then that's when it's time to look at it a little bit harder to see if something has happened. Did a supervisor approve a time card that had an excess amount of overtime because of a missed punch, etc.? And as we continue a little bit further down, here you can see the actual, fast forward a little too much here. You can see where that actually gives you a breakdown of some of these errors and error totals here. So total payroll funding is significantly higher than the average. If you're averaging, again, this is across the last 10 payrolls. So 44,000 is the average. I'm sitting at 49. Okay, did we have a vacation payout? Was there a bonus? What was it that could have caused a high discrepancy? And then you can see the time entry dollars for this Michael Jones of 8,000 exceeds the limit of 100 for regular. So there's these different rules that you can set up to say, we don't typically pay any more than this. Time entry hours exceeds the limit of 40 for regular hours. So they've got a key in of 72, and maybe that's okay. Maybe she had retro hours that needed to be paid. But it's catching all of these things. The things that keep us payroll people and HR experts up at night. Is payroll going to be right? Is it going to be okay? It's going to give you that analysis employee by employee so you can run through that with each payroll. There's advanced filtering in there too. So that way, maybe you just want to look at the high alerts. There is some of it that's just strictly informational that are low warnings that you don't need to necessarily mess with. And then with Perfect Payroll Assist 2, here's an example of some of those high alerts. So when you click into this box here, it's going to show you high alerts. So missing tax IDs, keeping that top of mind. It is such a costly mistake if we don't follow up on those tax applications, right? Then our tax team can't file those things on your behalf. So that's a core thing that's right there in front of you. Again, this is also going to potentially catch if there's somebody in an invalid jurisdiction or an unauthorized tax. So maybe you have a remote employee, you're in Missouri, and you have a remote worker out of Kansas City, but Kansas City isn't an authorized tax within iSolved. It's going to give you that warning so that way you know, okay, we probably need to start doing something on Kansas City. Or you pick up your phone and you call your account manager, or you email your account manager and you say, hey, I see this alert. I'm a little concerned. Help me, right? Because that's what we're here for. This isn't supposed to take your place or our place. This is simply supposed to be a peace of mind. And when you click into the medium alerts here you can see some different examples. An employee has a 0 net pay. We don't typically like to see 0 net pays unless there's a pretty large advance or they're getting paid for a small amount of hours. Pay rate changes and unauthorized changes in pay rates. Negative wages for taxes. If you try to reimburse a pre-tax deduction and they don't have a high enough pay, it will put negative taxable wages. Can I say amen to that, right? All of these things that are really true headaches that cause such problems down the road. This is just a quick glance at it. So I am so excited about at Perfect Payroll and Perfect Payroll Assist because of what it's going to do for my peace of mind and to catch and prevent these mistakes. This is just one core thing that iSolved has been working on with its partnership with the AI tools. And this is all secure. They use the most secure one that they could find to just pull all of this data together to give you more. So that way you don't have to second guess yourself every time you make a move in payroll. All right, so Perfect Payroll, we talked through that one, but now I want to show you the one that's really cool. So let's talk about your employees. What are they going to be experiencing? So I mentioned Claude. If you don't know what Claude is the connector that iSolved partnered with and through Anthropic. So they chose Anthropic deliberately, mostly because they were founded on AI safety and a constitutional mission, not a marketing claim. That resonates to me, right? Because data security is one of the utmost important things within the industry. So I love that that's the partner that they chose. Their API terms prohibit training or customer data sharing. If you're using ChatGPT to help you, that is not secure, right? Using something like Claude, that's where your customer data is safe. It's not being shared. So when AI is touching payroll, benefits, and employee data, that foundation is a non-negotiable, right? This stuff can't be shared out into the great wild west out there in AI world. It's got to stay within. So Anthropic is iSolved's partner, and Claude AI is a division part of that. So what's it going to do for you? Right now we're in phase 1 of Claude. And again, Claude is a free tool to your employees. There is a more advanced one that you can pay as an organization if you chose to, but anybody can get the Claude free version. So it automates the busy work. There's going to be where there's these different Claude agents that are going to be able to help automate onboarding, reporting, and employee communications. So I'm going to show you the employee communication, how that runs by itself here in just a minute. You guys are going to get so excited. Self-service answers, that's ready to go. The Claude connector helps employees find what they need without contacting HR. And it will help with smarter decisions too. So as I said, phase 1 is really the employee side that I'll show you in a moment. In 2026 and 2027, there will be 6 autonomous agents that will go live within the iSolved system built on that same Anthropic foundation. The Guardian for payroll accuracy. I love these guys. They're clever. So the Guardian will help us and is going to keep building on that payroll side of things. The Advisor for benefits enrollment. The Signal for retention risk. The Orchestrator for onboarding. The Watchdog for compliance. And the Helper for HR Q&A. So be on the lookout for more information coming from me and our team related to our new agents that are going to be coming to iSolved. But right now, I want to share with you. So here's let's take a peek at the Claude for our employees and what they can experience today. right. How exciting is that? So with the Claude integration, it connects in the back end, in the background with iSolved. Employees don't even have to open their app. They don't have to log in to request their time off. To get some of those things accomplished as a manager supervisor, I could just ask my Claude, hey, do I have any pending time off requests? And it's going to give me all of that and take care of it right there. This is just phase one. This is making data so accessible for everyone. And it's going to just eliminate that time and those roadblocks in the payroll process. So that's phase one of Claude. It's ready when you are. If you want to turn on that connector and you need some little guidance on how to install some of that stuff, you just let me know. It's ready for you guys. The next little bit that I want to show you guys is always on HR. So this is the first layer of some of the AI type integrations. The agent that I talked about, the helper, it's going to build on top of this piece. So let's go ahead and play this one.
Hey everyone, today we're talking about Always on HR, also known as our conversational virtual assistant. Now, this is a tool that is going to help employees answer the typical day-to-day questions like, how much PTO do I have left? What's in my code of conduct? What's my dress code supposed to be? This is going to be a tool that exists within the iSolved platform, and it will be available for employees through the Workspace's self-service experience. Now, Always on HR is a closed AI system, which means it doesn't connect to any outside language models. It does not connect to any outside websites. It stays wholly within the iSolve system and uses only information that you've provided in order to make sure that your data is secure and the conversations it's having with your employees are safe. With this tool, you're able to come in here and upload any kind of documentation you'd like the agent to use as a resource. So any details around things like your attendance, your benefits, your code of conduct, even the company equipment, upload any kind of documentation that you would like the AI to learn from. Now, this tool is going to provide a lot of different resources in order to track conversations that your employees are having, even provide analytics on the different items that your employees might be asking about, the interactions, or of course, just who's using it in general. This is a fantastic tool in order to streamline a lot of those common day-to-day questions that honestly we've been answering for quite too long as it is. Now, what does this look like for your employees? Well, from the employee experience, they're going to have a new button right up here in the top where they can access the Always On HR assistant. This is where your employees will be able to open their chat room and start having conversations with the bot that, again, is going to use your documentation as its learning resource. So they'll be able to come in here and ask about things like, what's my PTO policy? And the AI is going to be able to search those documents that have been uploaded in order to provide that answer to your employees. Now, this also is available in Teams as a bot. So if you are using Microsoft Teams as your primary go-to of communication with your team, they can actually utilize this there as well.
All right. So always on HR is that first level of, again, self-serve information available to your employees. We can add that stuff in the background. So that way that is available through the app and through, if you use Teams integration, then it can come through as a chat through Teams. Here before too long, that will be all through Claude as well. So they'll be able to use it through their own personal Claude tool. But again, that is to come when our 6 other agents that are going to help you be supporting branches of you from the HR perspective join us here in 2026 and 2027. So let's go ahead and jump to summer. if our chief matchmaker, you want to talk through the recruitment side of things for us and how AI is changing that landscape.
Hello, guys. Of course, happy to talk about AI and how that is working with recruiting. Um, I feel like there's really two sides to this coin when we're talking about AI in that recruitment process. One, if you are in the seat of speaking to candidates and reviewing applications, getting the jobs posted online, you already know that there's things that are becoming easier about your job through the automation and the work that's coming off of you. But at the same time, you're kind of got your guard up a little bit on those candidates and wondering, are they using some sort of AI to find workarounds in my interview process? Are they tweaking their resumes in ways that maybe I'm not aware of? Or I know we've all seen the videos where somebody has an app built into their computer that's providing them a script to do an interview with right then and there. So those are all things that I think we are running into today when we're talking about AI in the hiring process. Do I have answers for all of it? I don't. I'm still navigating it with you guys as well and understanding what that's going to look like. Um, but I do think there are some tools like I hit on that's making our jobs a little bit easier and providing a better experience when we do get to that interview and hiring process. There's some really cool things built into iSolved under the attract and hire portion or module of the system. If you're using that, I hope that you've been able to jump in and view what that looks like within attract and hire. I'm going to show you quickly how it really can make your job postings, your job ads that you put out there so attractive to those candidates and really catch their eyes on your website and how it links up in other areas. So let me pull up my attract and hire here. It really starts with that job listing where you can go in and pull from a template or create new jobs. I'm just going to grab just a pretty easy position. We'll go with an accounting clerk and start a new draft here. Once again, this is an attract and hire, and it syncs up directly to iSolved with your recruitment tools. This is another module within it. But once you're opening a job listing, you can open this AI Pro where it wants to know a few different things about the job, such as title, schedule, and even different personas that you're wanting to attract for this position when you're talking about your ideal candidate. Let's see, we want, we'll do a recent graduate. With the desire to learn. We'll keep it simple. You can add other information in as well, such as the pay rate, the location, and then custom day in the life activities. Since I do have some of this from the job ad here already, I'm going to click this generate job ad and see what it provides. It takes some of the text that we already had, some of the information that you can put in, and creates a whole new ad for you and uses some keywords to really target different industries. You can see here, it's kind of broken down to who we are as a company, things that you can automatically build into the system that it'll pull every time. Some different information that can be owned by this person. And then it has what a typical day may look like. You can copy that right into your text editor. And then that would then go onto your website once you post it. So just one piece that is going to automate that a little bit. Um, Once you get further into attract and hire and you start receiving candidates for those jobs, it knows the job descriptions and the requirements that you've put in there, and it'll start pulling out ratings on candidates on who they think is the most qualified and who is the best candidate for those roles and who you should be spending your time with right off the bat. Um, Whenever you're going through to decide who the best candidate needs to be for your conversations. Now, you're probably like, okay, that's great, but how is that truly making my job easier? I've got my job descriptions, great, they're ready to go. I can review those resumes just as fast because if you're like me, sometimes you don't trust AI and those ratings that you're providing on those candidates. That's where I come in. I can't be replaced by AI. Um, and I know Beth had a slide there, but with this today, we want to talk with you more about our direct hire services and how we're partnering with our clients to make sure that some of those higher level positions that they're spending a lot of time on interviewing with and understanding, these are not entry level positions. These are your salary team members that are handling things like your payroll, that are handling things like your internal HR team members, that they're a very valuable piece of your organization. And you want to make sure that the person that you're hiring really is the best fit for your company. It's hard for AI to sit down and have that conversation to understand who's going to be a culture fit. What are some of those things that when you're talking to a candidate, you easily pick up on? And I know we talk to AI a lot, and maybe they do think that they understand the culture fit, but sometimes they don't get the tone of having just a great conversation with not only the candidate, but you as the client as well, to understand what's going to make an impact in that position. Some of these roles that we've been working on have been controllers. They've been HR managers and directors. They've been payroll and HR team members at the entry level area. Things that really truly make an impact in your day to day within your organization. With our direct hire services, we take care of the AI piece. We get into LinkedIn and use that back end recruiter to really go through and narrow down searches to find those best candidates for the role and spend the time talking to them. I do a lot of interviews, and I'm pretty sure I can quickly catch on when I think somebody is trying to use those AI features to stall me a little bit, to wait on an answer and a response to be generated. I don't know that for a fact, but there are some interviews I've walked away from and I'm like, I don't know. Those answers were really strange and there were some pauses there. Anyway, I digress. I'm kind of rambling a little bit there now, but our direct hire program is something that is really truly great. And we've been able to create some great partnerships and onboard for our clients some wonderful team members that are already making an impact very, very quickly. And for being on here today, we are offering a discount on our retainer fee, which is $500 off. It's usually $1,000, and that retainer fee allows us to go ahead and get the position out there, start using a lot of our tools, such as the LinkedIn recruiter seats, the job slots on LinkedIn, job slots on Indeed, our marketing team, and some graphics, and then getting in front of the right candidates um, to see who we can get there for you quickly. So if any of that is something that you're interested in talking about, if you think there's an opportunity within your company, maybe not today, but down the line, you're thinking, you know what, we're going to be promoting somebody here in the next couple months, and I don't know how to backfill their role. Let's talk about it. I'd be happy to set up a time to discuss and would love to get you that $500 off the retainer so we can work on figuring out who your next team member is going to be.
Absolutely. I'm going to just say nobody knows how to hire payroll people like we know how to hire payroll people, right? I mean, that's what we do for a
It's my
living.
niche.
HR, we're the people management experts. So Summer and I work very closely together. And even if it's just, an AI HR tool consultation, she and I both are happy to do that to talk about these things because that we are always trying to stay on top of it and finding ways that we can make a better process for the candidate or the employee. I don't plan to apply for a different job anytime soon. But in the event that I wanted to, I would hope that I would be looking for a job ad that was telling me a story in a day in the life and having all those great things within it. So definitely, I just again back on share my slide here. So Summer already mentioned we talked about our direct hire services and how she helps step in and uses our tools and our expertise to help shorten that time. An AI HR tool consultation. She and I both are available to do that with you. And again, we appreciate your attendance and with that 3 months perfect payroll assist. So reminder, perfect payroll assist is that advanced fraud detection, that advanced version of the core payroll AI tool. And then of course, anytime you join us, you earn 1 SHRM credit for just attending. It's our gift that keeps on giving to you. So we love to be able to give back to that. So we appreciate that. I do want to say next month, you guys will get to hear me again because we'll be talking about benefits automation, which is one of my favorite topics ever. And I will be talking about the AI within benefits enrollment and how to increase enrollments and make that process better too. But just bringing it all back full picture, we talked about several different tools in here. And what does this mean? Clearly, I honestly think your roles are going to be more important than ever. A lot of statistics actually predict that the shift in your role will obviously change in what you have to focus on, but in a good way. You'll be able to focus on the people more. Training is going to be a big pivot in the focus because, right, the AI floodgates are open and now we have to keep up. So how does this change the way your day in the life is? It's definitely going to. So what tools are you using to keep up with it? As your partner, we want you to lean into us because this is something we talk about every single day. And just looking at this statistic, I found IBM, they just have been studying this heavily. So the returns on investment for AI and HR are compelling. Research shows that a significant increases in metrics, including a 35% boost in productivity and a 30% improvement in training effectiveness because there's more time for it. The research also points to a 20% rise in retention rates and a noticeable improvement in employee sentiment because they have more access. It's easier. They're training, they're doing these things, and then things aren't getting bottlenecked. Pay accuracies are there. So we're heading into a great space. Again, those floodgates are open. We're happy to be the life ring, the lifeboat, the lifeguard, whatever you need from us. But you just let us know. And thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to listen to Summer and I talk about this topic. And we can't wait to talk to you more about it. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. If you have any questions, I'll stay on for a few minutes. Feel free to use the Q&A or the chat, and I'm happy to answer those. For the rest of you that don't have any, thank you again. Appreciate you.